welcome, Chicagoland. Welcome back to the Chicago Southside Blues Coalition CAN TV Studio Nonprofit Spotlight. I'm Izola Wright, better known as Lady Z, and I am the executive director of the Chicago Southside Blues Coalition, and I'm here to tell you guys about our upcoming events, what the nonprofit is all about, what our mission statement is all about, and how you can help us serve this great city of Chicago. Again, this is our second show, so I'm happy to be back. I would like to share with you again our mission statement. And our mission statement is to educate, entertain, and share with all Chicago communities the rich history of Chicago blues music and its musicians, okay? We plan to carry out this mission by offering educational programs to senior establishments, public schools, and through live music and other cultural events. Now, that's very important, okay, because we have to get the word out. And we want to share this great music with all of Chicago, especially the South Side, okay? We want to serve the youth of Chicago with our free music lessons and art events. Also, we would like to help our struggling musicians. And you know, our musicians, especially the blues ones, they really struggled during the COVID pandemic. You know how we had to lock up and we were all inside and, you know, we couldn't work. Well, that's very important for a musician who does that for a living and they cannot work because they're not going to get unemployment. Nobody's going to come to help rescue them. So it was a very trying time for those musicians who were not able to work during that time, okay? And we like to serve our struggling musicians with food donations, small fundraisers when illness or financial downfall presents itself, okay? And it happens a lot. Many musicians right now, you know, they have to have a GoFundMe page when they become ill, okay? So we really want to help out our blues musicians and all musicians, you know, as far as that is concerned, okay? And so, guys, some more about our programming. We have a children's program that is going on right now. So if you have a child that is from the age of 8 to 18, okay, you might want to give us a call, and we'll put the number up later, but give us a call at our office and let us know that they may be wanting to join our free guitar music lessons, okay? So we have that every other Tuesday. Every other Tuesday from 4 to 5 o'clock, we have free guitar lessons. And guys, our goal is to eventually raise enough money where we can buy some property to house our own center where we can have guitar lessons, we can have drumming lessons, we can have piano lessons, vocal lessons, okay? State-of-the-art recording studios for the community, for our youth from the ages of 8 to 18, totally free, okay? They can go and learn how to become top-notch musicians, recording engineers, drummers, you know. And so this is our dream here. This is our dream here at the Chicago Southside Blues Coalition. This is our future dream. We're talking about trying to get this started sometime next year. Okay, of course, with your help. And we need all the help we can get, guys. We really do. And the children in the class that we have going on right now, they love it. They're getting to learn an instrument that they never thought that they could play. And so, you know, we need more instruments. We need more instruments. And of course, we need more children. So, you know, if you know of a grandchild or niece or nephew, and it's on the south side of Chicago, guys. It's going to be on the south side of Chicago on 95th Street, okay, in Beverly. I know a lot of you who live in Chicago, you pretty much know where Beverly is on 95th. And it's in that area. You would have to definitely get in contact with me to get more information. But these classes are free. They run for about an hour and 15 minutes, and you'll be surprised how much you can learn in an hour and 15 minutes when you're just working with about maybe 6 or 7 other students and an instructor. And our instructor is state of the art. He's state of the art, Bob Murphy. Bob Murphy, okay, he was the director and musical engineer for the Staple Singers. So you can't get any better than that. You can't get any better than that. We have top notch, okay? And we have some pretty good guitars that the children work on too, okay? Even though we still need more, and that's where your help will come in. Okay, that's where your help will come in. So where are we going to take that next? Well, next, we're going to take that into the schools. And so I'm looking at a way that I can get this program into CPS, where we can go into CPS and we can teach them, all types of instruments, because Bob Murphy, he knows how to teach all instruments, okay? He also teaches vocal. He's worked with Minnie Riperton, Shaka Khan, okay? A lot of the greats right out of here from Chicago. And you would definitely want your child to work with him if they were serious about learning how to play any instrument, or if they just they were curious about learning how to play an instrument, okay? Because there's a lot of skills that a young person can learn from learning how to play an instrument, okay? And so we're looking to do that, and I'm working on that like right now, trying to get this program into the Chicago public schools, okay? And so once we get a good handle on this program with the children into the public schools, and we're still going to be working with the Chicago Public Library, we're going to start working on our senior programming. And that will entail us going into the senior homes and offer them free blues events, concerts, history lessons on the blues, and offering them all types of little smaller programming that will help them. Like, for instance, cell phone usage. A lot of seniors really struggle with how to use their cell phones, okay? I mean, sometimes I have a problem, and thank God for grandchildren, right? And I'm always, hollering for my grandson to come in and help me figure this thing out. Well, in the case of a lot of seniors in some of the homes, they don't have that kind of help. And if we can just go in for half an hour or an hour just to help them manage and work on a cell phone. And what about a computer, right? A lot of them do not know how to use computers. And we have some people that are affiliated with us who are willing and able to go in and help the seniors learn how to maneuver a computer by themselves, okay, and give them a small basic computer class. And so these are some of the programs that we want to give to seniors. And then, of course, we're not going to forget our arts and crafts, okay, because I'm an artist, and I love arts and crafts, and I have a lot of arts and craft ideas that I would love to share with our seniors, okay? And so that would be the next one, guys. And then also we would like to take the senior to musical events, right? We have all kind of musical events in the summer and the springtime. We would like to offer them, or we can take them and pick them up in our bus, and we can take them downtown to a blues event. Okay, we can take them maybe to the suburbs where they have, blues events. Blues music events. They're going on all across the city and the suburbs of Chicago, okay, especially in the spring and summertime. And so we want the seniors to come and enjoy themselves, right? We don't want to have them stuck up in their living environment, in their, complexes, all summer and spring long. Now, I know that, they do have activities sometimes in these spaces, but a lot of times they don't. There are some out here, they really don't do too much, guys. And so we're going to really target in on those types of environment and help take our young people our young old people out and let them enjoy some live entertainment. Now, there's nothing like live entertainment. Now, I tell you, if you really want to be entertained, you should be entertained by live entertainment. And that's what we aim to do here at the Chicago Southside Blues Coalition. Now, at this time, guys, I would like to share with you this video that I made. And I made it a couple of days ago, and it is a silent video, so I'm going to be speaking over it because I'm a teacher. I've been teaching ever since 2006, okay? And it's going to be in a lecture casual style, okay? And so it's not going to be, you know, a documentary. It's going to be in a casual, bluesy lecture style. So coming up is the video that I would like to share with you. Okay, so what are we looking at now is the Chicago Blues. What is the Chicago Blues? Well, the Chicago Blues, guys, is a lot of things, okay? It is the music of the soul. One blues man said, if you don't like the blues, you have a hole in your soul. Well, if you don't like Chicago blues, you have a hole in your soul. Chicago Blues, guys, is one of the top-notch blues cities in the world. Now, you might want to ask, well, how did all of this begin? How did it begin, right? Well, you know, it began way down south in the Delta area. Do you know what the Delta area covers? I'm sorry, what it covers? Well, it covers Mississippi, of course. You have family from Mississippi. I have family from Mississippi, right? Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, parts of Missouri, and even parts of Illinois, believe it or not. And don't forget Louisiana. And so this is the South, the Delta South, the Delta South, okay, not Delta, Delta, the Delta South. And in these areas are where blues men were born. They came for these areas. And at the time when these young men were young men, they saw their family, their grandmother, their mother, their brothers, everybody had to work in the field because they were sharecroppers. They were sharecroppers. And these sharecroppers had to till the land for their landlord. Now, usually, guys, I know everybody knows the story of slavery, but usually after slavery, the slave owner, he would offer them a job. He would offer them a sharecropping job. He would ask the people, do you want to stay on the land since you already know the land? You know how to till the land. You know what to grow on the land. I will rent you the house that you were previously staying in. I will rent that out to you. And all you have to do is work the land. And when the harvest comes, you give me my share and you take your share and you do whatever you want to do with your share and you pay me my rent and you take care of your family. So many African-American families became sharecroppers in the 1930s and the 1940s, okay? And so on the field, it would look just like this. It would look just like this, but it'll probably be more family members out. Even the children would be working and toiling in the field to make sure that they get a big enough harvest to pay off their debts and to help the family survive. Okay, and so blues was created on these fields. Yes, blues music was created on these plantation fields, okay? And when you say, well, how was it created? Because they would sing, guys. They would sing songs. They would make up melodies. They would become poets. They would be using prose, and they would be naturally rhyming words together. And you can walk into these areas and you can just hear all of them singing on the same vibe. And this is where the blues began. It began out of the experience of the African American condition. The experience of the African American condition. And it all started in the Southern Delta states. Okay, and Mississippi is one of your greatest. Now, if you do your research and you ask a lot of people where do some of the greatest blues musicians come from, Well, they come from Mississippi. They come from Mississippi. Okay? And now, after a long week of toiling and working in that sun and picking cotton and planting corn and, growing tobacco, that was a lot of work, a lot of work. And so on the weekends, and usually the only day they had off was a Sunday, okay, after church on Sundays. Okay, the men would gather together, and some of the women. Now, we can't leave out the women, because we do have a lot of blues women who came from this era as well. Okay, but they would sit around after church and a good, healthy Sunday's dinner, and they would pull out their guitars and they would pluck away. They would pluck away and they would sing. They would make up poetry. They would do all types of prose and storytelling and laughing. And this is when the whole family would get together and they would sing in harmony, and they would sing and listen to the men talk about and sing about their experiences in the field, their experiences in their life, their experiences with Jim Crow. You know what Jim Crow was. Jim Crow was very strong at this time. It was anti-black. Okay? Everything was anti-black in the Jim Crow. They had all these anti-black laws. Blacks couldn't do this. Blacks couldn't do that. Okay? And so this was the kind of climate that created the stance for blues music. And so finally, a lot of people who worked the plantations were beginning to hear about a faraway place, a place up in the north where they could be free, where they can have more opportunity. Okay, and so this was a big decision for a family to make, because you had to decide who's going to go or who's going to stay behind. Okay, and in most cases, grandma and grandpa always stay behind, guys. If you can remember, especially you guys are in your 60s and 70s, how you used to always go back to Mississippi or Arkansas or Louisiana to visit grandma and grandpa, right? Because they were the ones who stayed behind. But the young folks, the sons and the daughters and their young families, they packed everything they could to fit in those cars, everything they could to fit in the trunk. And sometimes you'll have 10, 11 people in one car, leaving from Mississippi, leaving from Alabama, Arkansas, trying to make their way up to the north, to the big city, to Chicago, the land of milk and honey, they thought, right? And sometimes they left the children behind. And I'm pretty sure that somebody watching this video can remember that, yeah, they did do that, because they left my brother behind, and he grew up with grandma and grandpa in Mississippi, and I grew up here in Chicago. A lot of times they left the children behind. And so it was not unusual for these families to leave, sometimes all the children, but eventually, some of them would go back and get those children and bring them to Chicago. But they were looking for opportunity. No more working on the plantation, because, a lot of times the plantation owners would cheat them. They would cheat them out of their money. They would take most of the harvest. And the little harvest that they were left, they could not even survive on it. They couldn't even sell a large portion of that to feed their families and then to pay rent to the plantation owner. And so, they found themselves forever in debt. So their way out, they thought their only way out was to migrate and leave and go to the big cities. And this was the second great migration of the African Americans from the South to the big cities. And they came from Mississippi. They came from all across the Delta, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama. My people are from Alabama, South Carolina. And they arrived in Chicago, Detroit, New York. In Chicago, guys. Now, in Chicago, they were mobilized by racist landlords and racist agents to help them find apartments to the north and south sides of Chicago. Those were basically the only two areas that they could really move to, Okay. Now, if they tried to move anywhere else, it was met with very, very fierce racism. And really, you could probably lose your life trying to move into those areas. Okay. Because of the violence that would be afflicted upon you if you move into those areas. Now, there was a movie called Raisin in the Sun. A Raisin in the Sun. If you haven't seen that movie, you need to rent it because they have it at the public library. Go and get that movie, and you can just see how dangerous it was back in the 50s and the 40s to move outside of the north and west, of the south and west sides of Chicago into other areas of the cities, and God forbid the suburbs, okay? All right. And so, but when they moved to Chicago, guys, it was, they thought they were in heaven, but they were still met. They were still met with a lot of racism. They were still met with a lot of unemployment. They still had to face racial discrimination in the hospitals, okay? They still had to face racial discrimination on the buses, okay? So it wasn't as bad as Mississippi, but it was. It wasn't, it wasn't all that good either. You say Mississippi problem with racism and African Americans was 100%. Well, when you came to Chicago in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, it was maybe 90%. So you had maybe a 10% slack of racist and unfair treatment and just living your life, trying to survive, living under the hardcore of racism and struggling and not being able to make it in this world, right? And so that's how we ended that. And so, guys, this whole climate caused the Chicago blues to become what it is today. Now, next time on the show, I'm going to finish off this video, and we're going to get into the different nightclubs that were formed, the different styles of blues, and how these men found their work here in the city of Chicago. Now, at this time, I would like to put up my flyer of our upcoming event. We do have an upcoming event, guys, and it is the Chicago Southside Blues Coalition Sexy Blues Jeans event. And what we're having here is a live figure drawing event. It's going to be on October 21st. I hope you guys will get a chance to see this this show before October 21st, because if you see it after October 21st, then the event is over with, okay? And we're going to have that event, and I hope that you can go to our my page on Facebook, Chicago Southside Blues Coalition. So just look up Chicago Southside Blues Coalition, guys, and go to my page, and you will see all the information there. You can also go to Izola Wright and look up the page for the information for my event. And again, it's going to be October 21st. There is a donation at the door, but the donation is affordable. Please come out and help us. If you're an artist, if you know any people who are artists between the ages of 18 on up, anybody under 18 is a little bit too young, but 18 on up, guys, you are welcome to come out and join us. We will have light refreshments, and we will have music, and we're going to have big fun. And we have a boxer. We have a champion boxer who's going to be our model, and he's going to be there, and we're going to be able to draw him for 2 hours. And this is in conjunction with our mission statement, where we're like to offer art events to our community, because we know that our community is very creative. We have many talented artists here in our communities, young ones, old ones, in between ones, and we would like to have work and all types of events for them to come on out and to mingle with us, to network with us, and have fun with us. And so please, please do come out. And if you can't come out, you can always help us, okay? You can always help us with the event and go to my page again, either Izola Wright or the Chicago Southside Blues Coalition. You'll see the information where you can reach out and help us with this event. And we will be happy to see you and draw with you and share some moments with you. Okay, so on that note, guys, I would like to say thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next week, next time, same time. And I hope you have a marvelous day. And don't forget, guys, that the Chicago Southside Blues Coalition is here to help keep the Chicago blues alive with you in mind on the south side of Chicago. See you next time.